Hello and good morning to all. I hope all of you are doing well. And a couple of you were asking me that, ma'am, we did not have a class yesterday. So, it's there in the description also. This class happens on alternative days at 11 a.m. in the morning. So, all of you, very good morning. And please let me know if I'm audible and visible properly. And additionally, who's there in the class today? So, may I please know who else is there in the class? Also, let's start. So, I'll first start by introducing myself, and I would love to know who else is there in the class as of now. So, I'm Siddhi Bangard. I did my graduation from BIT Mesra. I have 3 years of teaching experience, now more. In fact, teaching at an academy was more than that 3 years of teaching experience. I've met worried people, taught like hundreds, like not even hundreds, more than that of students. So it's been an amazing journey so far. I have appeared for 4 mains and an interview, and I did my undergrad, postgrad from XLRI Jamshedpur. So, folks, this is my Telegram group link. You can join it so that you can connect with me directly. In a couple of days, I'll also share my alternative phone number so that you can connect with me directly there. This is my Unacademy profile link. So I teach both on the Unacademy platform as well as the Unacademy channel on YouTube. So you can follow me either ways. But if you are a part of the Telegram group, you get updates on wherever I'm teaching classes, wherever on the Unacademy platform or the Unacademy platform on YouTube. With that, folks, welcome to UPSC CSE in English with Unacademy. So let's crack it. At Unacademy, you get daily live classes like the one we are having. I don't do it daily so that it gives you some space to revise and come back to the class. Live test and quizzes like the one we'll be doing. All our courses are aligned to the UPSC syllabus. As you'll be seeing, I have some wonderful questions today, mixed from a history, economy, and GS perspective. And then with one subscription of Unacademy, you get access to all the live and recorded. So not just the courses which are running, but also which have run before but are very important courses. None of the courses are deleted from the Unacademy website. So you have access to everything that has ever been on the Unacademy platform. That's the beauty of that platform. It's like a mini Google for UPSC in itself. For easier watching of your Unacademy classes or for tracking your progress on Unacademy, you can please download the Unacademy learning app. It will really help you out. And we also have, in fact, not we also, but uniquely we have the Unacademy Iconic program, which is for both the freshers and the repeat aspirants who want to actually find help or seek help navigating the entire labyrinth of the civil services examination, which is quite complex indeed. So in this, you get a personal mentor. That's the highlight of the program. So people keep looking for mentors, and usually the teachers who are teaching, the educators, they really don't have that much time on their hands. But here, a person will be assigned to you just for you, who will be there on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on calls to connect with you, to handle all your doubts regarding anything under the sun about the exam. So that person will be completely dedicated to you. And this is a very unique initiative that we have taken at Unacademy. So, but it does not stop there. Iconic is plus. That means the benefits you get under the plus courses, that is live classes, test series, unlimited practice, a structured schedule, plus a personal coach, daily mains Q&A practice, study planner, and a personalized feedback from your mentor. So with that, the Iconic subscription for 12 months is for 64,000, and for 24 months it's 99,000. And you can use my code SBUS anywhere for any subscription under UPSC CSE category to get this course at 57,600 or 89,100, because you get an instant 10% off. And for our plus courses, for 1 year it is 44,000, and for 2 years it is 64,000. However, if you use my code SBUS, as I just mentioned, you can use it under any category, either plus or Iconic, or for any courses. You get an instant 10% off, bringing the 1 year course fee down to 39,600 and the 2 year course fee down to 57,600. With that, choose wisely, choose Unacademy and choose Iconic. So you're already on the Unacademy platform, so you're already halfway through. Use my code SBUS to get an instant 10% off on any of the Unacademy subscriptions. With that, folks, we'll begin for today. and I'll set some of the ground rules. Please keep a snapshot of this slide. This will help you remember all the parts of the Constitution easily. Okay, so before we proceed, I would like to know who is there. Can I know who is there? Okay, Jairam Radhakrishna is there. Supriya is there. Afreen, Ridhima, Shantini, Suman. Good morning, Suman. Very happy to see all of you. All of you are here on time. And we have some really amazing questions. Suman might have an extra edge because she came to the evening class yesterday. So there is a repeat question today. So she'll have an extra edge with that. All right. So briefly, the ground rules. Most of you are regulars to my class. So the ground rules are, feel free to be wrong here. Suman, you especially went a long way to actually prepare for it. So I want you to be right, but more than that, I want you guys to make all the mistakes you can, because once you're done with the mistakes, then you will only do things correctly. So that really helps in getting or sailing through. Good evening, good morning, Rangesh. I'm so sorry. All right. So, but remember your successes as well as your mistakes, because see, your success helps you in building the motivation that I've done it before, I can do it now. So that's the mantra. So whoever is appearing for UPSC 2020, please keep that in mind. And the ground rules are 25 to 30 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. But more than that, folks, apart from the rapid fire round, the last 5 questions where I just give you 30 seconds to read and answer both. But most importantly, morning session, enjoy yourselves, and I believe that together we'll really improve each day. And I have seen Suman improving each day, and I have seen Shantini improving each day. In fact, yesterday Sivranjani was there. She has been coming to the classes for more than a month or 2 months now since I started this entire thing. So very good morning to you all, and let's proceed. So first we'll start with the monthly 5. Everything, these questions should be correct because they have been in news recently. All right, so we'll go ahead. First question on your screens. 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer, and read the question properly. Good morning, Varun. Another 5 seconds and I'll start your time. All right. Okay, so this is supposed to be pretty easy. I should have put a green coding here. So let's see. What are we up to? So whoever joins in, all right, Vivek has already answered. So I know the last person to join is Vivek. Good. Vivek, why didn't you come to the evening class? Huh? All right. So Vivek, Supriya, Ridhima, Suman, they've answered it correctly. Yes. None of these are incorrect. So this was launched very recently, also called OHM, Air Unique Quality Monitoring. The best thing about this system is it's indigenously made. So now we really don't have to import a lot of these devices which measure the air quality index. Can anyone tell me who actually releases the air quality index? Who does that? And recently we also had the Swachhata Sarvekshan results coming up. I think it will be declared today, or they have already been declared, because till yesterday night they weren't declared. All right, so everybody answered it correctly. That's the whole idea of it. So this actually has been made by a local company in India, and they have assigned a technology partner. In fact, it was developed by Department of Science and Technology. So now they have found a local partner to actually manufacture it on a large scale. So it's actually built on this technology called laser backscattering. Now, what does laser backscattering means? That is what I'm going to explain you when we move on to the next slide. But yes, the 2 or 3 things that are beautiful about this entire initiative is, First of all, it's built on very cutting edge technology. So it can measure up to 21 atmospheric pollutants, and it can measure them up to 1 ppm. That means 1 parts per billion. Sorry, not ppm, but 1 parts per billion. So the accuracy or the sensitivity is very high. Second, it will bring down the import cost of the devices that we import from France or other places. And the cost of manufacturing this device in India is also 1/3 or 1/4 of what we import. And more importantly, it's an indigenous initiative. So definitely it boosts our Make in India initiative. With that, let's actually start looking at what this is all about. So what happens in laser scattering is, how many of you attended my science and technology classes on Unacademy? Because there I explained about Raman Scattering while I was talking about the famous scientist of India under the GS mains 3 syllabus. So I explained the scattering part. So what happens is, whenever light has photons and wavelength both. Light has a dual nature. But whenever we talk about interaction with matter, we actually talk about the photon nature of light. So when the photons go and interact with other particles, for example, the pollutants only, there will be some light which will be scattered off because it has now interacted with the particle. It will be deflected in different directions. It won't be going on straight. So one is the Rayleigh scattering, in which the energy state of the photons don't change. That means the light that was incident is the same light that actually gets scattered, which is actually responsible for the blue color of the sky, the most common example. Another one is the Raman scattering, in which the energy state of the photon changes. Now what does that mean? If you had sent blue light, what will come out is light of some other color because the energy states have changed. So in laser scattering, you use a laser, but the concept remains the same. The light scatters, and backscattering means it actually goes and interacts with the particle in its path and it comes back. And when it comes back, you capture it. And that's how you actually count the pollution, or how many parts per billion is there, the number of the pollution particles in the air. So that is the whole concept behind this device which has been manufactured, called Air Unique Quality Monitoring, or OHM system. Alright. So being of this high sensitivity, 1 part per billion, is actually a very big technological breakthrough. So this one is an important thing. That's why I decided to put it here. Any queries here? And one of the additional benefits of the system is that whatever data it collects, it can actually send it up to the cloud, so that the data is accessible to everyone and you really don't have to maintain huge servers to collect the data. That can all be sent on the cloud and be accessed by multiple applications. So it has a multiple interface and it's quite seamlessly running, and the tests have already been done. So it has been given a production go ahead and should be live very soon. All right, National Air Quality Index. Yes, Naveen. So that's actually given by the Central Pollution Control Board. Is that okay? Are we guys okay till now? Any doubts? And if you want to read more about it, here is the link, the Times of India article, which says now time for Desi real-time air quality monitoring system. So in the Times of India article, they have explained the entire length and breadth of how the system is functioning. Otherwise, you can also find it on the PIB. All right. So let's proceed. This is how this OHM system actually looks. And if you can see, they have actually meant to write Air Unique Monitoring System and named it OHM, and they've also drawn a OHM here. But this is how the picture of this monitoring device actually looks like. So it does not occupy much space, so it will be pretty easy to use. Yes, Vivek, you're right, CPCB. Question number 2 on your screens. Srijan portal, everybody should get it correct. All right, so 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Kaveri, I'm happy to see you every day, and so am I happy to see Naveen also. Pretty good, guys. Keep up the good work. Ridhima, you came to the Unacademy class also, right? All right, Vivek. Not an issue. But do see the recorded lectures if you can, because we did some good questions yesterday. All right? Naveen has already answered. Great. Okay. Guys, did you read the question correctly? Only Sivranjani has read the question correctly. Is it? Vivek, what's your answer? A? Well, the correct answer is D, because I was asking for incorrect options. So none of them is incorrect. So all those who have answered A, I don't know why you answered A. Only Sivranjani got it correct. It's D. Obed, you're late to the class. So basically both are true. So yes, this is after the Atmanirbhar Bharat announcement. The Department of Defense Production only has Srijan portal under it, alright, and it was very recently launched. Sujan, not B. Nope, it's D. I have asked for the incorrect. Can you see this? Incorrect. Now Varun and Suman are like, oh my god, what the hell happened? I have told you guys, read the questions. Read the questions. I gave you 20 seconds to read it, right? Read it. Alright. So this portal will actually help you get both. So you can actually choose the items you want to indigenize. I will show you the portal, how it looks like. And then after choosing the items for indigenization, you can put them in the cart and then send a proposal that these are some of the products that you have been importing or the Ministry of Defense has been importing. We as a company choose to indigenize or to manufacture it in India only. Then you can go ahead and talk with the Department of Defense. Alright, so the Department of Defense Production. So yes, there are 5 departments under the Ministry of Defense about which I've already talked in my defense technology classes under Unacademy. Alright, the science and technology course that is already there on Unacademy under my name. So in the defense technology section, I have covered everything, right from the organization to the submarines to the missiles. Everything has been covered in those 1.5 lectures. Please go and check it. You will get a complete idea about the Ministry of Defense as well. But this one comes under Department of Defense Production. Actually, there are more than 2 or 3 sites with the name of Srijan. So Srijan was also earlier launched for rural development. Then there is a Srijan for the SHG. So there are a couple of websites, even by the Delhi government it is there. But this is Srijan Defense Portal. So this is the PIB news article that you can refer to read more about it. So let's see what it is there. So this is how the portal looks like, and the portal website is srijandefense.government.in. So when you go to this portal, it's a very basic portal as of now. So PSUs are public sector units, OFB is Ordnance Factory Board, and SHQ are our state headquarters. All right. No, my traps are not danger. Read the question properly. All right, Suman. Everybody. How could only Sivranjani read it? Okay, she's got used to it. Okay, so coming here you get the year of import, and you can also select the items based on the import value of those items. So I selected it based on the imports. So it was showing a couple of 2168 products or 2000 products that we imported in 2019-20. So you can actually go around looking for these products, add them in the cart here. All right, there is a cart just like the Amazon one, and then you can send your proposal to manufacture it indigenously. So that's the whole portal thing about. I want you guys to go and visit the portal, and it says Department of Defense Production under the Ministry of Defense. All right. So this is the whole portal about. And under this, when you actually talk about year of import, so they only have 3 years of import, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. So the maximum has been shown. 2168 products out of 3239 are from 2019-20 only. So it's a fairly recent one. They need to put in more data so that it becomes more transparent now. Good morning, Ram. It's okay, Aditya. All right. So who sent Andrews now? Ramkumar, are you wishing somebody I cannot see, feel or touch? Ramkumar is acting in the movie Chamatkar. Okay. Manohar Singh, you are a little late, but you were right. So, but I'm seeing you here for the first time, Manohar. Alright. This is an easy one. So, I'll start the time right away. Alright. Anybody who leaves the class, you're supposed to let me know. Maintain the decorum of the class. Okay. So nobody wants to answer this? What happened? Do you guys know that you need to prepare for Dr. Vikram Sarabhai? If you go to ISRO's website, Varun, why on earth Mars? Why? Why? It is moon. Ridhima is also Mars. Okay, I've given you the options, guys. It's moon. So Ridhima and Varun. Now Varun is like, ma'am, I don't have an eraser. I won't be able to do that in the prelims exam, but I'm going to do it here. Retracting my messages. Obed, why would you go and mark it on Arctic? Like, why? Guys, understand, Vikram Sarabhai is related to space. So definitely Arctic and Antarctica are out of question. Alright. He's considered to be the father of Indian Space Agency. Alright. So this year is being celebrated till 12th of August 2020 is being celebrated as the centenary birth celebrations of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So those celebrations started on 12th August 2019. They are being celebrated for the entire year till 12th August 2020. Alright. So it's a centenary year. So expect a question in the mains because famous scientists of India and their works is a part of GS3 paper, and that's where I taught it on the Unacademy Science and Technology course when I taught the famous scientists. So the students who have attended the class there, they already know about it. So recently a Sarabhai crater was named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So they actually captured the image on Chandrayaan-2. So though the Vikram lander failed to land on the moon, but the Chandrayaan is already orbiting. So they actually found this picture of a crater on moon. So it is a crater which is very nearly located to Apollo 17 and Luna 21 missions. So Apollo 17 was the last time when man walked on moon. That was 1972. Luna 21 was a Soviet rover, so unmanned spacecraft that landed in 1973. So this is a site which is very near to these very iconic landing sites. So this has been named as the Sarabhai crater in dedication to his centenary celebrations. Now, actually, let's look at this. Why again it is important? Because this region was actually filled with lava. So it will help scientists to know more about the lunar region soil or the climate or what has been there in the past. So this is how the crater actually looks like. It's a beautiful picture. Hi Malti. Yes, Aditya. Answer question mein chipai. Very right. Good morning, Rosie. Finally, you are on time, a little bit on time. Okay, Neelam also answered it correctly. Neelam, Gurpreet, late to the class. Malati, you're new to the class, but 11 a.m. is the time of my class, so don't come late to the class. Okay, so this looks beautiful, isn't it? It looks extremely beautiful, surreal. And to be named after such a great scientist, yes, definitely a great tribute. All right, Akash has also come and he's late. Fourth question on your screens, 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. It's pretty easy, so most of you should get it correct. Rosie, I think it's a beautiful picture. It's not a horrible picture. It's the beauty of universe. You don't get to see something that often. You don't get to see something being nominated after a great scientist. It's a privilege. All right. So your time starts now. Neelam has already answered. Neelam, I had this one question. I'm not supposed to ask it, but still. Are you a male or a female? Because I can't actually decipher that from your name. So it'll be really helpful. All right. Supriya, where are you from? Because you are fairly regular to my class and I'm very happy to see you every single day. And same is for Pankaj. Pankaj, are you also from Assam? All right. So yes, option number 1 is incorrect. So there was a plan to shift lions from Gir because the territory problem is there, and if we keep all the lions in one place and if they are infested by some disease, then we might lose the last pieces of this species which is there. The Asiatic lion is already only found in India, so we might end up losing it. That's why we wanted to shift it to Kuno, which is in Madhya Pradesh, but as of now the entire deal is stuck. So, and yes, the Gir lions are listed as endangered on the IUCN, and trade in the lions or any parts of them is actually forbidden by the CITES Convention. Alright? Alright, so you're from Assam. Great. Manohar, where are you from? Alright, Neelam, thanks. Manohar, where are you from? Supriya is from Andhra Pradesh. No, Abid, I'm from Rajasthan, so we like have the entire India here. But I'm really happy to see people, a lot of people from Northeast joining, especially Assam. So good to see you guys. Okay, so I'll show you something interesting. But before that, the homework for today, which I want you guys to do is. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry, Abid. Okay, Manohar is from Gujarat. You're from Gujarat, Manohar? You're from Jharkhand. I know. Rosie, about you, I know because you told me this in the Unacademy session. Okay. What I want you guys to do is go and look at the IUCN red list. And I have already taught it in one of the classes, but I want you guys to actually go and look at the entire list. What does critically endangered mean? What does endangered mean? What does vulnerable or threatened or near threatened means? So go and look at the entire spectrum of this as a part of your homework. It will hardly take you 2 minutes. So do it right after the class. All right? Yes. Okay, Manohar is from Bihar and Obid is from Nagaland. All right. Okay, so I'll show you the Gir National Park first. So can you see this region at the very boundary? Is it visible? Is it visible for everyone? Wait, let me see. But actually, I do have a zoom in option. Okay, let me check. Can you see the Gir one? Aditya is from Chhattisgarh. Manohar is from Bihar. Nice, nice, nice. Yes, is the Gir visible now? Okay. So, similarly, I will show you where exactly is this Kuno one also. So, let me check. Alright. Can you see Madhav National Park here, folks? This one? This Madhav National Park? Where I'm hovering this thing? The mouse. So just besides Madhav National Park is your Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, which was declared as a national park in 2018. All right. So I'll show it to you on another screen. All right. Let's come here. This is large enough. So this is your Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, and just besides it is your Madhav National Park. So they are actually at the border of Kota in Rajasthan. This is Kota here. So it at the border of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. This entire green structure that you see here, entire green thing is actually the Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, now called the Kuno National Park. All right. Yes. Yes, Pankaj, I know. Yes, Naveen. The Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary is in MP. All right. Chalo, I think this helped. My entire idea was to show you it on a very zoomed map. So it's working. Are we good to go? Let's move on to the next question. 10 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. This should be done correctly by everyone because it was just announced by the PM. So you should be knowing about it. All right? Your time starts now. Folks, just let me know if I'm not audible at any point of time. I hope I'm fairly audible. If the voice is a little bit low, please let me know on time. Please, that shouldn't be a problem. That should be the last thing that should be a problem in the class, that I'm not audible or I'm not visible. All right. So I already got a couple of correct answers. Pankaj and Akash, both are correct. Yes, it is related to health and nutrition of women. I'm still awaiting the proper recommendations of this report. Yes, most of you got it correct. So Jaya Jetli is a very well-known politician, and she was assigned to this committee, I think in June 2020. And the report was supposed to come out by 31st July 2020. So this entire committee was in news because PM said we are going to revise the marriageable age for women. So even the NHRC, or the National Human Rights Commission, they wanted to come out with a date, or sorry, the age of marriage for women. Or so they wanted it to be 18 universally, not 18 and 21. So even for the guys, they wanted to bring it down. So let's see what we finally actually come out with. But as of now, yes, everybody got it correct. As of now, the mandate is to they'll actually look into not just the marriageable age of women, but also the women entering motherhood. Because why we want to actually regulate that age is because maternal mortality rate in India is pretty high, and we still do not have proper spread of institutional facilities for checking the pregnancy things, or giving proper pregnancy care to women, or post or prenatal care to women. So it's a 10-member committee, and their terms of reference are they have to check about the well-being about the neonatals and the mother, the infant mortality rate, the maternal mortality rate, as I just talked about, total fertility rate. In fact, do you guys know that infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, and total fertility rate are very intricately linked? Because if the infants that are taking birth, if they are healthy, if the mothers are healthy and they tend to remain healthy, the total fertility rate will eventually come down because your offsprings are surviving. So when do we have more number of offsprings? When the percentage of the survival is very less. So human beings, being a highly evolved species, that's one of the reasons we reproduce more. Because in fact, in the very olden times, that's why my grandmother used to have 6 kids, and so did my maternal grandmother, because the infant mortality rate was very high. You didn't know if your kids would survive. So that's the thing. The second term of reference for them is the health and nutrition. The third is the legislative instruments that need to be amended to actually get all these practices in properly rolled out around the country, and also to prepare a rollout plan. All right. Okay. Yes, Neelam, totally agreed. But since they don't get pregnant, so this is essentially for the pregnant women. The reason why so many laws in our country are biased towards women is because, see, as it is with reservation, there is a history of backlog, and the backlog has been huge. And the second thing is, women are considered to be the churning wheels of a family. You educate a woman, you educate a family, you take care of her health, she takes care of the entire family. So till the time the societal structure remains highly dependent on women, we will tend to see a lot of initiatives absolutely focused on women. Is that okay? Yes, Rangesh, you're right. So have they declared that? Obed, I'll have to actually check that if they've already declared that, because I did not find it. So I'll look into that. Chalo. Question number 6, because till last night I did not see that update. So I was reading that news on AIR, but I did not see that update. Anyways, we'll start with quick 10. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer will be our standard time, unless the question is very long. All right. So another 7 seconds to go, and then we'll start the timer. No, Naveen, there's no gender inequality. See, you need to understand the idea of gender inequality through a very varied lens. As I told you, women did not have voting rights. We were one of the first countries to give voting rights at the very onset of independence. So there has been a very long history of struggle. You guys have read world history. I'm presuming you've read world history, you've read Indian history. You've seen their conditions. Men did not have sati, women did. You were never traded like cattle. I mean, just see it from the times of Mahabharata. You can't go and say that, okay, my wife belongs to you. She's not a commodity. So, seeing those historical injustices, this becomes very, very imperative. But I will not get into a debate. We'll do it in some other class. But as of now, yes, we really need to focus a lot of initiatives on women. All right. So, I have the answers here. Yes. So, all those who have answered option number C, you're correct. Aditya and Pankaj, why option number B? Because all of these are correct actually. Both these are correct. So, East Kolkata wetlands, guys, ये गलत नहीं होना चाहिए था, because this shouldn't have been wrong, because I discussed it in detail in Unacademy also and here also. We have already discussed the wetlands part very much in detail, and in fact I remember discussing it in a huge detail on Unacademy, where I shared with you the list of entire 37 wetlands and also earmarked the important wetlands for you. So now this question shouldn't have been incorrect. This was recently in news. Alright, so Manohar A is not correct. Shantini and Suman, you're correct. So East Kolkata wetlands obviously is in East Kolkata or Kolkata. The important thing is, you know what happens with this wetland? It's very, very unique. So all the waste water that flows into this wasteland is actually treated using solar machinery, and then it is flown into these wetlands. So this is like wetland which survives on waste water. So recently the NGT said that we need to have biomining. So all the waste which has been their legacy waste, now the new waste that is going into this wetland is treated, but the legacy waste, the bio waste that is there, that needs to be removed, and that is called biomining. So NGT said you cannot input all more waste into the East Kolkata wetlands, because there is a sustainable capacity till which the wetland can renew itself. Now you are actually throwing in the waste beyond the wetlands capacity, and it's a very, very important site. In fact, it was declared a wetland way before the Sundarbans were declared a wetland. Sundarbans were declared a wetland only recently, the Indian part of Sundarbans. So let's see. And yes, it is the world's largest wastewater fed aquaculture system. That's what I told you. The wastewater from Kolkata actually goes and drains in there. They use solar purification so that it can be used by these species in this wetlands. Let's actually see. It's okay, Suman. Yes, Aditya, it's in East Kolkata region. Let's see where it is. So, can you see point number 11 here? I will also give you the link to the. Uh, okay. Can all of you see point number 11 here? 35 is the Sundarban Wetlands, and point number 11. Yes, you're right, Neelam. Deepor Beel is in Assam. Very rightly said. It's already shown on the map. 12 number. Achha, it's very near to your house. Very nice. Okay, so everybody can see point number 11. So point number 11 is in East Kolkata wetland, alright. So there are two wetlands in West Bengal, the Sundarbans and the East Kolkata wetlands. 12th is the Deepor Beel. Now, what I really want you guys to do is, I will share this. Folks, this link is a link by the SA and DRP. I already shared it with my Unacademy students. So this is South Asian Network for Dams and River Basins, alright, SA and DRP network, alright. So they have made an interactive wetlands map. All the 37 wetlands that India has as of now are there. So you can go check this map out. It's an interactive map. That means all the locations which I showed you here, you can click on them and it will show it to you in a very zoomed in level on the map. So please go and visit it. Alright. Additionally, can anybody tell me when do we celebrate the Wetlands Day? It's 1st February. Alright. That is when we celebrate the Wetlands Day. And Ramsar is a place in Iran. Okay. So let's move on. Question number 7 on your screens. 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. This should also be correct. For most of the people, it's a very easy one. Yes, Neelam, it's 37 now. Time starts now. So I have got one correct answer up till now. Naveen has answered correctly. Yes, it is option number C. All those who are doing A, it's actually option number C. Yes, it does contain toxic radioactive matter also. Very, in very traces, but yes, it does. All right. So the correct answer is C. So Neelam, Sivranjani, Kaveri, Supriya, Obed, Naveen, Suman, Varun, Akash, Santani, all of you have done it correctly. Yes, it's option number C. In fact, apart from the toxic radioactive matter, it also contains lead, arsenic, mercury, cadmium and uranium, which is Pb, Ar, Hg, cadmium and uranium. So it also contains that, and it is also used for making cement. So recently, why was it in news? Because NTPC, they developed a technology from which they can actually utilize the fly ash, or in fact use to they have the infrastructure now to supply fly ash for its uses at other places in the economy. All right, and it is the finest of the powder that is actually produced as a result of burning coal to generate electricity. So up till now, fly ash is actually a nuisance. This byproduct, if not used properly, it is a nuisance because it creates pollution and it is not very conducive to grow forest or plants in that area. So it is actually the plant where NTPC has actually developed it. It's the Rihan power plant. It is in Madhya Pradesh, sorry, Uttar Pradesh. All right, I'll just zoom in to show you where it is. Can we see Rihan here? It's at the boundary of UP and MP. Yes, it is beneficial. That's why we are using it for cement manufacture, right? Jatin, why are you late to the class? Yes, Varun, it's in UP. So this is the Rihan project here. All right. Now, what I want to show you is the Rihan River. So, can anyone tell me Rihan River is the tributary of which river, or is it is a part of which river basin system? You did study this? Yes, it was in the PIB news. So, you must have studied this. So, basically, if you look at this insight here, if you look at this insight here, this is basically the Ganga River basin, and this small area is actually the Son River basin. Yes, Sivranjani, alternative for cement. So this is the Son River basin. Now, going ahead, we will actually do some Son River wala thingy. So Rihan is a tributary of the Son River. It's here. So at the Rihan project is actually built. So this is where the boundary of this Uttar Pradesh thing ends. All right, or Uttar Pradesh begins, and this is Madhya Pradesh. So that is where you have the Rihan project, and North Koel River is in Odisha. All right. No, Rosie, the Ganga basin. It is Ganga basin, not Yamuna basin. Rosie, you really need to refine your geography. All right, that's why we are doing all these maps here. Chalo. And Amarkantak is, everybody knows, is in Chhattisgarh. All right. So let's proceed. Question number 8. 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. This is also very easy. All right. My dear students, you need not retract your statements. It is only when you do incorrectly. That's what the class is about. Be wrong as much as you can be wrong, because once you are wrong and I correct you, you will remember that thing for eternity. All right, Neelam. Inform the class. Okay, starting off. Neelam, I'm sure you would want to read the question again. Do you want to read it again? That's what I'm saying, Neelam. Focus on learning more than telling people what you know. I know you know a lot, it's a very good thing, but be humble about your knowledge. It will help you. Alright, folks, all those who have answered C, I give you another chance, read it again. Yes? Sure nahi ekdam? Oh, Varun. Varun Varun talks to me half in Hindi and half in English. It's okay, Naveen. I'll start putting that option E. I'm not seeing Nandu coming for a while now. Any which ways. No, it is not a two-tiered organization. It is actually a three-tiered organization. That's why option number 1 is incorrect. Otherwise, yes, this entire naval innovation and indigenous organization has been made under the Atmanirbhar Bharat. In fact, interestingly, the Navy already had the indigenization organization within itself. Now the innovation part has been added. Yes, and it is actually a place dedicated where the academy and industry can interact with the Navy to actually foster innovation and indigenization. So we are taking, it's form of a network government. We are taking the help of research, the academia, the industry, the normal people to foster innovation and indigenization for self-reliance and defense. So we did actually two things today. One was the Srijan portal for self-reliance and defense, and the other one is Naval Innovation and Indigenization Organization. So remember these. We are doing a lot of things in the defense sector, the two of them being Srijan and the Naval Innovation and Indigenization Organization. So yes, only option number 2 is correct. All right. Yes, Rangesh. So Aditya answered it correctly. Aditya answered it correctly. Neelam changed his her answer. Pankaj answered it correctly. Pankaj, I must say you're pretty brilliant. Nice to have you in my class. So actually, let's look at this, what it is about. So basically, there is a Naval Technology Acceleration Council which works under this organization. So NIIO is a three-tiered organization. Go and check the entire structure, or maybe it's not required. It's just for your information. And so they will actually be working on emerging disruptive technologies. They have a technology development acceleration cell in which they will be looking at the new technologies like the 5G or the AI or machine learning, whatever new is coming up, and see how we can actually use it for bettering the naval technologies. Guys, that reminds me that recently a new mesh has been developed which can actually block electromagnetic interference. It's from the Department of Science and Technology, very recently developed. So I wanted to include that question. So that mesh is actually kind of almost transparent. So you can use it in the stealth technology. If you use it on planes, it doesn't show up that it's a part of the stealth technology. So it maintains the aesthetics at the same time preventing any electromagnetic interference. Why are we talking about electromagnetic interference? Because your radar waves or any other waves are all electromagnetic waves. So that question will be there in the day after tomorrow's class. All right, Neelam. Okay. Now, coming here, we also have the draft defense acquisition policy. Let's see what the final recommendations are. And this entire indigenization perspective has been released in a compendium called Swalamban. Swalamban means self-reliance. All right. So as I already told you, Indian Navy already had a functional Directorate of Indigenization. So this is a new addition. Let's come to question number 9. It's a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So read properly, and I give you 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Sorry, Aditya, what? Oh, all right. Okay, after I gave the hint. It's okay. At least you caught on the hint. So don't beat yourself up. All right? Chalo. Another 5 seconds and I'll start your time. Kaveri, I'm really happy with you. You were quite punctual and you were quite regular to the classes. So that's a very good thing to have. That's an asset. Don't lose it. All right. And Naveen is also very regular, by the way. So yes, Naveen, don't lose that asset. Be regular, be punctual. You will be unbeatable. The results might not show now, but in a very short period of time, you can see the results. All right, Naveen has answered A. Naveen, you want to read again? I gave you entire 40-45 seconds. So Afreen has been reading the questions properly. Anybody else who wants to read it? Shravan, you're new to the class and unfortunately you are late. We started off at 11, so come to the class on time from the next time onwards. Okay, now people are getting the hint and answering correctly. Yes, the correct option is B. Can you see why option number 2 is incorrect? Option number 2 is incorrect because it is not timely reduction of tariffs, it's timely revision of tariffs. Reduction is not a problem in India. In fact, reduction is a problem in India because you keep reducing the tariffs, but the cost of production is not going down. And that's why these distribution companies or the power manufacturing companies, the Gencos, they are in huge debts. If you have listened to Sitaraman's speech on Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan when she was talking about the discom sector, she actually mentioned it that despite providing them with so much money, they're not able to run profitably, and they have sanctioned another, I think, 90,000 crores to be given to the discoms because they are suffering because of the power generation companies, because the power generation companies are not earning enough. So that's the reason option number 2 is wrong. And if you say option number 3 is correct, then definitely option number 2 is wrong. So you don't even have to know it. If option number 3 is correct, that you're not able to bridge the gap between cost and revenue, that means you cannot have reduction of tariff. So it's like very logical. That's why I keep saying answer is in the question itself. Read and reread. That's what I want to build in. All right. And Shivranjani, Anand and Manohar are going on a different trajectory also, altogether. Why D? Why D? Why not B? Jairam, you're right. So this was there in the ANBA. Go and watch the press conference that she took. I've already shared the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan video links that I took. So you can go and watch that. More if you want to read, this is the Indian Express article, the source from which this has been taken. So please go and read that. Now, I will also share. Yeah, Varun, it's funny, I know. So this is the power sector reforms. This is taken from the PIB website. It was a gist of the reforms that Nirmala Sitharaman has promised. So they will come up with a new tariff policy in which there will be 3 primary components. All right. One will be consumer rights will be enhanced or changed so that the discom or the distribution companies inefficiencies do not burden the consumers. If you are having losses, you are supposed to bear it. You're not supposed to pass it to the consumers. The standards of service will be decided for the discoms. The discoms have also to ensure adequate power and load shedding will be penalized. So this is the consumer rights. Promoting the industry or the generation sector itself. Progressive reduction in cross subsidies. So for example, your consumers, we are paying higher subsidies because electricity is given free of cost to farmers. Now, not all farmers might be requiring free electricity. There are some very, very rich farmers, they might not require it. So we need to reduce those cross subsidies. Time bound grant for open access. All right, so that people can go and produce electricity. The laws or the red tape isn't surrounding it is reduced. Generation and transmission project developers to be selected competitively. Up till now, the tenders have very few people coming in. So the more the competition, the better the efficiency is coming in. Sustainability of the sector is a very, very important policy reform that will be taken part as a tariff policy reform. So you will not have any regulatory assets. All right, you can sell and buy your assets so as to maintain liquidity. Timely payment of Gencos, as I already mentioned, because if the generation companies are not being paid on time, They actually cannot pass the reduction in the prices to the consumers, or they cannot function efficiently. And direct benefit transfer of subsidy and smart prepaid meters. So that is something. The most important part of the announcement was that the discoms in the union territories, they will all be privatized, because she said that privatization will bring in better management, better efficiencies in the discoms. So as a pilot project, we are only doing it in the union territories as of now. Question number 10. I'll start right away because there's nothing to read here. If you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Aditya, what do you mean by constant? Anything happened that I'm not able to follow? Rangesh, you might want to read again, but then you know it, you know it, you don't know it, you don't know it. So only Varun has answered it correctly. It's World Bank. Women, Business and the Law 2020 report is published by the World Bank, recently published. Aditya, it's not B. Supriya, Kaveri, it's not B. Afreen and Varun only got it correct. Kya baat hai bhai? Rest of the people have stopped studying. So the major crux of the report was that women still have just 3/4 the legal rights of men. So the very recent example was that in the Hindu undivided family, women have equal rights to a father's property. So there are many examples like this. So in fact, how many of you have Amazon Prime with you? How many of you have Amazon Prime and you end up watching series on Amazon Prime? Because there is a series called Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on that, and they talk about 1960s or 70s New York. So that lady's mother, she usually used to get money from her brothers as a part of trust fund, the protagonist mother. And one fine day when she starts asking for her rights, what she observes is that even a 5-year-old boy has been made a part of the trust fund, but she, being a woman, is not being given the place of a grandma who started that entire trust fund. So these kind of things are still happening. If you want to read more about it, this is the link on the World Bank blog, the Women, Business and Law report. You can go and read it. I don't know if Aswati is here. Aswati is not here. But this will be very helpful if you really want to write about women empowerment or any other issues in the mains examination. Yes, Aditya, you're right. Okay. So Jairam was correct. It's option number C. Shravan, what you don't have? Okay, you don't have Amazon Prime. It's okay, you don't have it. I'm just telling you because I keep watching the series, and in fact, I watch a lot of series just to gain a perspective on things. For me, it's easier to learn that ways. All right. So let's move on to question number 11. Again, I'll just give you 30 seconds to do it. It's pretty easy. Aditya, that happens with me. So I have made just single password for every. No, actually, with my tablet, that has become pretty easy for me. So Samsung remembers all my passwords. Now I don't have to do that. So that's a good thing. So, who wants to be a millionaire and answer this question? Or who wants to be a smart person and wants to answer this? All right. So I got my first correct answer. Yes, Akash. It is option number D. Genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, crimes of aggression, all are a part of the jurisdiction. Afreen, it's option number D. Varun, you're correct. Varun, I'm very happy to see that you have been improving consistently, very consistently. Though you irritate me and piss me off a couple of times, but when it comes to studying, you're fairly regular and you're fairly on time. So I really like that. Very good going. Yes, Jatan, you're right. All of them. So why was this entire thing in news? Because recently, if you remember, Trump commented that they will go and attack all the Iranian sites, cultural sites. So if you attack any cultural site, all right, then it is against the just cogents. I discussed this Latin phrase yesterday in my Unacademy class. So whoever wants to know more about it, please go and watch that lecture. Just cogents is there are certain things which are universal, which no treaty can bypass. So war crimes is one that thing. So this was a news regarding Trump trying to destroying the cultural sites in Iran. So that's considered to be a war crime that is not internationally acceptable, and that's why the ICC was in news. Oh, no, Afrin, it is included. Genocide means. So do you know about the Rohingya Muslims? Yes, Shantini? Are you aware about the Rohingya Muslims, or are you aware about the, I think it's Ugandan genocide, Rwandan genocide? No, Rwandan genocide, Tutsis and Hutsis. So basically, it's kind of ethnic cleansing. You completely eliminate, you beat people to death, or you kill a lot of people of a particular ethnic community or belonging to a particular faith or religion. That's called a genocide. Is that okay? Yes. Shantini, have I answered your question? So what happened with Rohingyas? They were targeted as a community and they were killed in large numbers. So that's called a genocide. Yes, Varun, but of a particular community. So tsunami, people dying in a tsunami or people dying in an earthquake is not a genocide, all right? Genocide is a crime committed with intention. People dying otherwise is not genocide, but a crime committed with intention of singling out a particular community. For example, what used to happen in this Sri Lanka also. So the Tamils were targeted, right? The Sinhala community targeted the Tamils. So that was a genocide. Yes, Jairam, you're right. Yes, Afri, very much. Very right, Aditya. All right, not a problem. So, the Rome Statute of 1998 is the founding treaty of International Criminal Court. Now, everything comes from Rome only because these people are the pioneers, and they have described war crimes as any intentional attack. That's what I said. A crime is when the intention is there against a historical monument, a building dedicated to religion, education, art, or science as a war crime. And they started functioning, this ICC started functioning in 2002 with jurisdiction over four main crimes which we just described: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. Now, interestingly, I have one more news for here. Yes, Afrin, you're right. So, interestingly, one more news here is the Rohingya issue, all right, has been taken to the ICC, all right, by the, sorry, not the ICC, but the ICJ. So, it has been taken to the ICJ by Gambia against Myanmar. So, I do not know if the case is still running, but it was in news somewhere in July. So, let's see what the outcome is. All right. So, they are discussing on that. Yes, Afin. Question number 12. Interesting question. Very interesting question. So, 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. In fact, what was happening in Syria was also a genocide only. So, yes. Jatin is so happy. Ma'am, finally, this was the question I had read. Jatin, you know what? I used to have similar feelings when I used to attempt mocks for my prelims. Oh my god, this is something I have read. Out of the 200 questions I used to do, there used to be 3 or 5 which I had read or done. The rest all were new to me. And yes, it was not a happy thing. Aditya, I'll have to check with that. I'll let you know. Does that work? Because I don't want to give you a half-baked answer here. I'll give you a proper jurisdiction-wise thing. Okay. So, Pankaj, Jairam, Akash, They did it correctly. Yes, it's Satwahanas. So most of you got it correct. Vivek, why A? Why Cholas out of all? Was Nagarjun Konda not enough an indication for you? Buddhism is related to Cholas, but not Brahmanism. Cholas are particularly known for being Saivites. Alright, so Hinduism can be there, but not Brahmanism. But Shravan, history is an inevitable part of UPSC Prelims. Aditya, be sure, ma'am. Lock kiya jaye, right? Yes, Naveen. Nagarjun Konda is in AP. Now, do you guys know that this is a historical site? I'll show it to you. This site, as it looks right now, was actually submerged when the Nagarjun Sagar was built in AP. This entire site was submerged. This is a Satwahana site. So, in fact, it's a site of Mahayana Buddhism that these people used to support. And yes, I'll do that, Aditya. Don't you worry. I'll remember your doubts always. So, this was the site which completely was submerged when the Nagarjuna Sagar was made. So, they actually then dug the site entire back and then they put it on a hill called the Nagarjun Konda. So, those who are from AP here, they already know that Konda in Telugu actually means hill. So, Nagarjuna Konda means Nagarjuna hill. So this site is actually related to that famous Buddhist monk called Nagarjun. He's supposed to have links from this place, but this hasn't been clearly established. So this place is named after him. So let's talk about the Satwahana dynasty. So they were the Deccan rulers, Dakkani rulers, and Gautamiput Satkarni, we all know, was very famous ruler of this dynasty. And in fact, the dynasty reached its zenith under Gautamiputra Satkarni. In fact, they are said to follow the matrilineal lineage. So they're very famous for that because Gautami was the name of Satkarni, or the name, the mother of the king. Now, interestingly, they were ruling between late 2nd century BCE to 3rd century CE. Alright. And yes, the Prakrit literature, the Sanskrit literature were given a boost by them. They were the ones who believed in both the religions, Buddhism and Brahmanism. And they performed Aswamedh and Rajasuya yags as a part of Brahmanism. And they patronized the Prakrit literature, language and literature. So it's a Prakrit is basically a localized form of Sanskrit. Alright. Also, I think a subject. Pali is a subject in UPSC. I don't know about Prakrit is there or not. Neelam is like, ma'am, I love history. Whatever you say. Great. So, we'll move on to the next one. This question should be done correctly by everybody who has been coming regularly to the class. If you do it incorrect, beat yourself up, because I've discussed this in very great detail in the YouTube sessions, and that too not very far ago, I think in the beginning of August itself. So I'll start your time right now and I should see correct questions coming in, because I discussed it not only on YouTube but I also discussed it on Unacademy. Yes, Naveen, you're right. Kakatiyas of Warangal. Actually, they replaced the Kanva dynasty. The Satavahanas replaced the Kanva dynasty. So it's close to only. Varun remembers it because Varun was in both the classes. You were there, right, Varun? Both on the Unacademy and the YouTube sessions. I remember very clearly. Rosie was also there. All right. So pretty good to see. Most of you got it correct. Yes. It is in Morena, Madhya Pradesh. And I had shown you the top view of this. Yes, Neelam, it is in Madhya Pradesh, I know. It is already written on the question. Did you not read it? I mean, if you have answered, you should have read it, right? It's in Madhya Pradesh. So, Shravan, it's not B, it's actually C. Both of these are correct. So, we have not actually been able to link it properly to the design of Parliament. But if you see the temple, I'll show it to you. The Chaucer Yogini temple, you'll be actually surprised. So let's look at this. Now, this was built by the Kachapagad dynasty and the King Devpal in 1323 CE, based on the inscription that is there. So it's a 11th century temple in the Morena district of Madhya Pradesh. Now, Aditya, if you remember all this, do you also remember what are these temples typically called? I'll give you another 30 seconds to answer it because I've discussed it in Unacademy. And it's okay, Shravan. It's okay, you'll learn. So, Ronnie, it's not B, it's C. So, I give you another 30 seconds, Aditya. Let me know what are these temples specifically called. When I taught Chaucer Yogini temples, there is a specific name given to these temples for their architecture. So answer me in the live chat section. So this is the temple in Morena. So the Chaucer Yoginis get their name from the 64 forms, life forms of Devi. So basically these are all temples which are highlights of the Tantric cult. So it's a cult which is made out of Hinduism, usually for performing voodoos and other sacrificial activities. So this is one such kind of temple. The another one is Ranipur Jharel temple in Odisha. They are also very famous. So while I was discussing Chaucer Yogini temples, I also discussed the group of temples called Ranipur Jharel, which has been recently declared in January 19, I think, as a part of national monuments of national importance. Neo-Roman style. Yeah, I'm not too sure if I can call it Neo-Roman style. All right. So we'll just keep it at that. And Naveen, no, it is not Neo-Roman style if you're answering my question. In fact, Romans don't even have it. It's the Greeks which had some form of it, but it's a very rare type of architecture. Aditya has left the class because he's like, ma'am will eat me alive. So I'll answer your question. These are called hypaethral temples. HIPA, hypaethral. HYPAETHRAL. Yes. Now you remember, Aditya, hypaethral temples are temples which don't have a roof. So there is another structure in Egypt in the Angelica island which is a temple of Apollo which also doesn't have a roof. So the Chaucer Yogini temples are not only known for their architecture because they are beautifully carved rock structures, but also because there are few of the temples which don't have a roof. Otherwise, if you go to the temple building architecture in India, both the Dravidian or the Nagar style, they have roofs over them. The shikharas and the gopurams and all these things are there, right? But these temples don't have a roof and they are called hypaethral temples. Parliament built on the lines of Neo-Roman, but this actually we can't corroborate it with the building of Parliament, but it looks somewhat like that. But we don't have a historical proof, so we won't go with that. All right, Naveen? Okay. Question number 14. This should be easy. You must have all have gone through the philosophical schools by now. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. So another 10 seconds to go and we'll start the time. Now you remember, Aditya, we discussed this. All right, your time starts now. Yes, Shravan, you're right. Ektarsa Mahadev temple. Aha, Aditya, very good. Very good. Yes, you're correct, Aditya. Pankaj, it's not B, it's actually 1 and 3. So the atomic theory has been given by the Vaiseshika school. All right. This Sankhya philosophy is very much focused on Prakriti and Purush, or nature and the man. So this is the Sankhya school of philosophy, and they believe that it is only by gaining the concept of the real knowledge that you can achieve salvation. And yes, it was found by Kapil Muni. All right, so most of you got it correct. Yeah, second is incorrect, Neelam. You don't have to think. It is incorrect. So Neelam, if we could focus on answering rather than nitpicking, that would be helpful. Is that okay? Okay. So Actually, this school believed in Dvaitvad. That's why I said Prakriti and Purush. They are separate entities. Dvaitvad means there are two entities. So one is nature and one is man. And that's why Dvaitvad or dualism is the focus of your Sakya school given by Kapil Muni. Now, it's a little blurred, but it's actually a summary of the six philosophical darshanas or six philosophical schools. So, Nyaya is actually meant for logical argumentation and discussion, something which Socrates also did by the means of questioning. Vaisesika, I also already told you that everything is built by atoms. Sakya, matter and self or Prakriti and Purush. Yoga, everybody knows Patanjali gave that. Mimamsa assumes the reality of many, okay? And Anekantvad. And Vedanta is they actually take all their philosophical studies or their philosophical theories from the Upanishads. So that's your Vedanta or Uttar Mimamsa. So Purva Mimamsa is beliefs on Anekantvad, and that's actually there's a famous story about Purva Mimamsa, the elephant story, that if a lot of blind people, 10 blind people are made to touch the different parts of the elephant, they will interpret it differently. So that's Purva Mimamsa. So, yes, Akash, Sankhya means numbers. I know that. That much Hindi I know. Alright. Okay. So, coming back here, Kapil gave the Sakya Sutra or Kapil Muni gave the Sakya philosophy. Patanjali gave the Yoga Sutra. Kannad or gave the Vaisesika school. Gautam gave the Nyaya Darshan. Gemini gave the Mimamsa Darshan, and Badrayan, also called Vedvyas, they have been able to corroborate it historically, gave the Vedant Sutras. So, if you want, you can go and revise or keep a snapshots of this. This is actually from the book Why Am I a Hindu? Alright. So, this is a snapshot of that book. Okay. So, moving on. Last question of quick 10, 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Guys, are we good to go? Apart from Aditya's doubt, anybody else has any other doubt? Anyone else? So please put it in the live chat. If I'm not able to answer it right now, I will take it up in the next session. So I'll answer your doubts. And Neelam, don't feel bad about what I said, but being humble really pays because you're here to learn, right? So eventually when you will have enough knowledge, then you can go around and flaunt it. And in fact, you won't be required to flaunt it because people will know that you know a lot. So another 5-7 seconds to go and then I'll switch on the timer. All right. So Naveen has already answered me. I think most of you will get it correct. Sorry, Naveen. What do I understand by no? Okay. So most of you got it correct. Yes. Pankaj, it's not B. It's actually C. That's correct. So it is not 1/3. It is actually 2/3. If you go and look at the 10th schedule, which is regarding the anti-defection law, you will see that it's because 2/3. So when you have, see, why did they did 2/3? Because if approximately 70% of people want to find a different or want to form a different party, that means there is a very significant political philosophy skins is there in the political party. That means now there is not one political philosophy or political ideology. There are two, and that calls for having a separate political party, and that's why the anti-defection laws allows for it. So it's 2/3 people, they can go, and neither of the party, the 1/3 which are remaining or the 2/3 which are forming a new party, neither will be penalized. The second thing is that yes, if there is a disqualification plea, the presiding officer will get, the speaker of the Lok Sabha will get the pleas from the party from which the people are defecting that you please disqualify these MPs or MLAs, then the presiding officer can take his own time to decide upon that. And till the time the presiding officer hasn't decided upon the disqualification of the MPs or the MLAs, the court cannot intervene. All right, but the court can intervene when he has decided to disqualify. So this entire thing has happened recently in the Rajasthan constitutional crisis. It has happened in Karnataka. It has happened in Arunachal. So all these cases we have been discussing on a continuous basis. We discussed the Nawab Rabia case. We discussed the Kilhoto Holhan case. So both of the cases I've discussed. Nawab Rabia I discussed on YouTube, and Hilhoto Kalhan I discussed on the Unacademy sessions. Yes, Naveen, right. Yes, you're right, Aditya. Very right, Akash. Okay, so we'll move on. Rapid fire round starts, folks. So this is the time. So get up. Top 3, all those who are new. Yes, Bholanath. Rajasthan case is approximately like that. So they actually ended up, the chairman of the Legislative Assembly, he ended up saying that, or he ended up giving the orders that all those people who defected, they should be disqualified, they lose their membership of the Legislative Assembly. So these people actually went to Supreme Court, and the review petitions and the special leave petitions were filed, and that was all in news. It was a huge, yes, Suman. It's in fact not even horse trading. Being a very close spectator here, it was not actually horse trading. It was just ambitions not taking the right time. Sachin Pilot wanted to be the CM. He took away 19 MLAs with him. He could have taken away 30 and the government would have been in danger. And the governor did not help. He did not let Gehlot to do a floor test on time. It was only when Modi intervened and when the Bhajpa also intervened, or the BJP intervened, saying that they will not be supporting Pilot, and Pilot did not get enough support. He came back and Rajasthan government was saved. All right. So a rapid fire round is about top 3, fastest 3. All right. So in this one, get up. All right, get up and get up, and then I'll announce the results. All right, so whoever features the maximum times in the top 3 list in the 5 following questions actually ends up winning this rapid fire round. All right. Okay, so let's start. You have 30 seconds. Aditya, why have you sent this emoji? It's a sign of waiting, right? Aditya's like, ma'am, I'm very excited, very excited, very excited. Okay, chalo. This is very easy. So here we might have some static questions, not related to current affairs, so that we have a good mix of static and current affairs both. All right, guys, who have answered, do you want to reread? Because I have only received no correct answers as of now. Okay, Akash is my first correct answer. Guys, reread the questions. Only Akash has answered me correctly so far. Everybody done and dusted? Guys, read it again. Option number 3, leader of the house. What do you mean by leader of the house? That's from a political party. It should be the chairperson of the house. You can have leader of the house as a very vague term. You should have the speaker or the chairman of the house, right? Vice chairman of the house. So option number 3 is incorrect. It's the chairperson of the house which actually decides whether or not to go ahead with the privilege motion. So Aditya is my second correct answer, but he answered very late. But I'll still consider it, because after telling you to read again and again, only 2 people got it correct. Actually, Neelam also answered it correct. So I got my top 3. Akash, Aditya and Neelam. So The speaker or the RS chairperson, they are the first level of scrutiny. They decide on the privilege motion themselves or refer it to the privilege committee of the parliament. All right. Now will you remember? Everybody? Yes, and not the leader of the house. Because leader of the house is the person from the ruling party and then leader of the opposition. All right. Okay. So Arun Jaitley say was in Rajya Sabha. Question number 17 starting up. This is a sitter. Everybody should get it correct. All right, Neelam, if you want to go, you can leave. So who wants to answer this? Okay. So I got my first correct answer. It's Neelam. Akash. Oh God, Punjab is Assam is ruling the roost. All three from Assam. Neelam, Akash and Pankaj. Afri, it's option number A. Current account deficit. We have been running a current account deficit for ages now. And the only reason we say it is good is because we are investing in infrastructure. So if you are investing your money in infrastructure, then it is good. I remember we have already done this question in the past and I gave the example of the tablet. So I got my laptop for 50K and I got my tablet for 70K. And then I'm running a current account deficit because I wasn't earning that much then. But nonetheless, I went ahead because you're building an asset which will be useful to me in later times. So that's why CAD is not always bad for the economy if you're investing in purposeful infrastructure. So option number 3 is wrong and option number A is actually correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Both government and private payments are included in the calculation of current account deficit, which is essentially your imports versus your exports. Understood, everyone? So Manohar, you answered, but you answered, yes, Rangesh, it is involved. It's the complete whatever production and everything happens. Majority of the production is that of the private only, na? So how can you actually forego the private thing? How much does the government spend? Government doesn't do everything, right? We have a very functioning private sector. So current account deficit involves all that. All right. So Manohar, you are late. So try to answer within the 30 seconds. Okay. All right. Chalo. So my top 3 were Neelam, Pankaj and Akash for this one. Akash, you are pretty intelligent and I'm glad to have you here in the class. Question number 18. Your time starts now. Okay. Karunanand, do you want to check your answer again? Anybody answering me now? All of you are wrong, unfortunately. All of you are wrong. Anybody wants to answer it correctly? No, all of you are wrong. Still wrong. It's actually Aditya, any idea? Anything you want to input? Not yet. Neelam is correct. Sivranjani is correct. So I got my top 2. And Shantani is correct. Guys, it was a pretty easy one, I thought. That's why I put the green marker here. So, no, Aditya, it's not D. Actually, frequent sterilization by the central bank simply means the OMOs. That means you go buy currency, sell currency to actually manage the liquidity in the system. That's what sterilization means. So definitely it is a barrier to the free adjustments. Then you are basically managing the interest rate, which the RBI does very frequently. So that is a barrier to the market adjustment of the currency in the forex market. So one is a barrier. So option number A is correct. All right. No, actually I did not. Akash answered it correctly only. Sorry. It was not Neelam also. It's actually A, option number A. I'm sorry. Neelam and Sivaranjani also answered it incorrectly. It's only Akash and Supriya. Yes, A is correct. Now you guys got it correct, but it's only Akash who got it correct. So today, for this question, it is only Akash. The rest of you have answered it later on when I was discussing it. I'm sorry, my bad. So yes, Akash is the only person who answered it correctly for today. Alright. So frequent sterilization by the central bank, yes, it is a barrier. When you export a commodity that is of comparative advantage of a nation, what does that mean? For example, say we produce cotton at a cheaper rate than USA or China, and if we export it, then in the international market, we will have higher range of exports or higher material will be bought from us. So that does not actually adversely impact your currency rate, or that does not cause a barrier to the currency exchange rate in the forex market. Yes, first statement is correct. So only Akash got it correct. Alright, so I will only put his name there in the top 3. Alright, let's come to question number 19. And your time starts now. This is fairly easy. Aditya, you should get this correct. So anybody wants to answer this? So far, who are my top 3? Let's see. I do not yet have top 3. What happened, guys? This is very basic. ये तो पता होना चाहिए. This has been asked in the prelims also. It's a PYQ. Nope. Nobody got it correct. Anybody wants to answer it? I'll still wait for another 1 minute. Karunanand is giving me all the options. A, C, D, and then he'll say, ma'am, B. Obviously, out of 4, 1 will be correct, right? Okay. So, all right. Akash, you changed your answer to B, but I will not count that. I will not count anybody's answer here because obviously when A and C are not correct, D cannot be the answer definitely. So yes, B is correct. It's the Labor Bureau that gives the CPI for agriculture and rural laborers. Alright. So it's the Labor Bureau. This question, I am not keeping anybody in the top 3. Nobody answered it correctly within the stipulated time. Alright. So I'm keeping nobody's name here in 4th. So let's see. Actually, the CPI, there are 4 indices under the CPI, and this is a previous year question. This is not a new question. This question has already been asked. So there is CPI for industrial workers, urban non-manual employees, agricultural labor, and rural workers. So for the agricultural laborers and the rural workers, this one is actually combinedly published by the Labor Bureau, and the other ones are actually published by the Central Statistics Office. Alright, and the 8 categories under which CPI is divided is education, or the consumer price index is divided, communication, transportation, recreation, apparel, that means clothing, foods and beverages, housing and medical care. So there are 448 items in the rural basket and 460 items in the urban basket. And the current base year for CPI is 2012. All right. Now let's see the difference between. Yes, Aditya. Okay. So let's see the difference between WPI and CPI. So WPI, yes, tracks the price changes at wholesale level. This tracks the price changes at retail level. This is fairly obvious. Now, this is published by the Office of Economic Advisor in Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This is by MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, the Central Statistics Office and the Labour Bureau. Frequency, this is weekly basis, WPI. CPI is monthly basis. The latest one was 12th of August 2020. Base year is 2011-12. For CPI, the base year is 2012. WPI has 697 items. CPI has 448 in rural, 416 urban. Item groups in WPI only 3. Primary articles, fuel and power, and manufactured goods. Here the groups are actually furthermore segregated into education, communication, transportation, recreation, apparel, foods and beverages, housing and medical care. Please remember this. This is very, very basic economics. Alright? Alright. Last question. Guys, to answer this, take a snapshot of this map on your phones. Alright? Click a picture so that you can answer the question which is on the next page. This is a repeat question. So Aditya, Suman. Indian Ocean Head Office. It's actually in MEA. There is no Indian Ocean Head Office per se. So it is there is a division of Indian Ocean in the Ministry of External Affairs, about which we discussed, I think, yesterday itself on Unacademy sessions. If there is another Indian Ocean Head Office, then I'll have to check it. Alright, Rangesh? So please take a snapshot of this picture and let me know when I can move on to the next slide. So there I will show you the question. And Aditya, Suman, and who else was there in yesterday's class? You both were there, right? Naveen was also there, I guess, and Afreen was there. So 3 or 4 of you should get it correct. So I'll proceed on. This is the last question of today. All right. Okay. So should I proceed? All right. So please answer in the comment section. Let me see. Okay. So who is answering me now? And read the question. Everybody, read the question properly before you answer. Hey Bhagwan. All right. My top 3 are, let me check this out. Okay, Akash, Sivranjani and Manohar are my top 3. Very good, Manohar. Naveen, Neelam, Shantani, you're late. I already got my top 3. Aditya, what are you doing? Sleeping? We did this question yesterday. You should have been the first one to answer it. What happened? You don't remember what I teach or you don't listen to me in the class? And Suman, same for you. You were there in yesterday's class. This way it's not acceptable. We did that question just yesterday night. Naveen, you're correct. Neelam, you're correct. So I'll let you know the answers. Let's see. Okay. This one here is Appalachian Mountains. All right. Okay. Then coming here, this is Mount Chimborazo here. All right. This is Atlas Mountains. So this is option number C. So it's correct. This is Mount Kilimanjaro here. And this is Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Very famous peninsula. It has Sea of Okhotsk in the bay here. Then you have the Great Barrier Reef here. Alright. So these are the places that I wanted to show you. Now, let's go back to this map and see what these places are again. Yes. Acha, you were absent yesterday, Aditya. Alright. Okay. Chalo. So, not a problem then. But don't be absent. That's a problem. Okay. Coming here. A is your Appalachian Mountains. B is your Mount Chimborazo. D is your Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. C is your Atlas Mountains, very, very famous. E is your Kamchatka Peninsula. And F is your Great Barrier Reef. Are we clear? So I'll announce the winners now. Guys, I wanted to know one more thing from you, those who are watching me right now. So I wanted to take a marathon session. Are we good to go for 40 to 50 questions? How long can you sit with me? Say for 3 to 4 hours, because that much time we'll take to do 30 questions, 30 to 40 questions rather. So we'll do it in the prelim style. We'll solve the questions first and then one by one we'll discuss each. So are we up for it? Then I'll prepare the session accordingly. So let me declare the winner for today. It's Akash, hands down. 4 times in the top 5. Alright, so in the first question, Akash, Aditya, Neelam answered. In the second, Neelam, Akash and Pankaj answered. In the third, it was Akash. Fourth, nobody got it correct. Fifth, Akash, Sivranjani and Manohar. So definitely, Akash, you are the winner for today. Very proud to have you in the class. Alright. So all of you, please take some inspiration from him. Very nicely done in the rapid fire round, Akash. Very nicely done. Okay, so you want this session to be on weekends? Fine, we'll do that on weekends only. Akash, are you still here? Okay. So very many congratulations, Akash. Very well done. Proud of you. And this is my Telegram group link for current affairs. So you can join me here, guys, so that you can interact with me. Here I post all my upcoming YouTube videos and Unacademy sessions so that you do not miss out on the sessions. This is the Telegram channel link for current affairs. At both the places I post all my YouTube upcoming sessions and Unacademy upcoming sessions. So all the very best for your UPSC prelims. You're welcome, Akash. And thank you and have an amazing day. All right, folks, I hope the session was informative. And if it was, then please like and share the video with your friends. And please subscribe to our channel. Let's crack it with UPSC CSE and Unacademy in English. All right. So with that, I'll close for today. Thank you. You were a lovely audience.